Hello. So I want to talk a little bit today about the whole Kelly thing and how people are just like throwing her under the bus for her statement into the blackface, her blackface comment. First of all, I'm not. I have many other reasons to take issue with what Megyn Kelly has said, but this is not one of them. I first of all, it wasn't a racist comment. I don't believe it was a racist comment. I don't believe it came from a racist intent. I think it was an innocent mistake that she made, given the fact that she is not of the same generation as many people are who understand what blackface really meant. I really don't believe she even understood what blackface meant. And she attempted to weigh in on something that she knew very little about. And I think her comparing blackface to someone going out for Halloween and dressing up like somebody they admire, like Diana Ross, as blackface. That is not what blackface is. That is not what many people know blackface to be. It was a very demeaning time in our history when people dressed up and made fun of people who were African American. So I don't believe she really knew that history. What I have taken issue with Megyn Kelly about has more to do with class issues, and that's where we are now. We're more divided along class lines than racial lines. And I know a lot of people disagree with me, but a lot of people haven't necessarily been exposed to the type of discrimination that comes when you are in a certain class. You know, money rules the world, and many people are hostile and really look down on people who are in certain income classes, and God forbid if you're homeless, as I became in the last 5 years. There's just a completely different sort of treatment for people. And I remember when the Starbucks, and that was when Megyn Kelly made a comment that I disagreed with. She compared paying customers to non-paying customers as if one is better than the other. And she couldn't understand how Starbucks would allow non-paying customers to sit next to paying customers and how some of the paying customers might have a problem with that. But most of the world, and she's not alone, doesn't really understand that it's more of a humanitarian issue, and that through corporate lenses, of course, you're not supposed to sit down next to someone who isn't paying. You know, they want to instill in us that you have more value because you are a paying customer. And that is definitely not the humanitarian perspective on life or how you should treat people. Starbucks makes an attempt to bring those two classes together. Whether it does it effectively is another question, and I may talk about that in another video. But to me, that remark had much more, gave me much more angst than this most recent remark. I think people are still very sensitive about along color lines, and we're so quick to jump up and say this was racist. And this, to me, does not meet the criteria for being racist by any means. As I said, I believe that she is probably doesn't really understand blackface. You know, these people go to college, and there's many reasons why she would not know what blackface is and would attempt to weigh in on a topic using her limited knowledge of what blackface is. Now, that's just my opinion, and I'm sure other people would tend to disagree. But the bottom line is that we are still overly sensitive about issues of race. You can't even bring up the word black without people just, overreacting and, just ruining people because of a comment they make. This really sets us back. It harkens back to much earlier time in our history when, people were very offended by the word black, as if that was something to be embarrassed about. Okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I did want to weigh in on this Megyn Kelly topic, and I'm going to follow up again with some other comments having to do with classism versus racism. All right, this has been Lit, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Lit.